Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the squad. It's Black Thor, Ice Water, and Puma. Let's go to hot takes. Black, what's your hot take this week?
Ooh, this is something I came across today, man. And I didn't kind of didn't ever focus on it too much, but if you look at the WNBA, I did the WN report when the season was going on, and it came out recently that Caitlin got a shoe deal. Just got a shoe deal with Nike. I was reading about how that came down, how there's a lot of suitors for the most part. Nike won based on the mere fact that they're going to have her for the next three Olympics feature her, a product of hers in the next three Olympics. So that's hard to beat. But I thought about it. I just kind of assumed there was other players in the WNBA that had shoe deals. And there's only two, Brianna Stewart and Della Don. And I was like, whoa, what's up with that?
Ice?
Wow. I mean, I think that speaks volumes to the WNBA players, right? So it's almost as if they're betting on Caitlin Clark to be the future of basketball. I mean, college, I get it. College, I can see where she was very good, solid. You weren't dominant because you didn't win. You got to win to be dominant. Okay, but I'm not taking away what she stands for. And they tried to make it a female logo of college basketball. I get all that. But when you go to that next level, I think you got to really understand that there are so many other women that are playing on that level right now, have earned a lot, and they don't have shoe deals. And so you just gotta kind of, if I'm one of those players, particularly Diane Taurasi, she probably like, what the I can't wait to see her. But it's just a point of how can you do and like I guess Nike can, but how can you Nike invest that much into one player when the rest of the players who are proven already have not received anything?
Yeah, I saw that too, and I couldn't believe it. I thought most of them had shoe deals. We never see them on advertising and things of that sort. Well, I see the companies following the money at this particular time. They see how hot Caitlin is, and so they're jumping on board, and they're pushing this as much as they can. And because I saw other players, and you see this in not just shoe deals with a lot of stuff that were more decorated than her, not get all the attention that she's getting. Look at the champions before, who all defensive team, won national championships, all this stuff, and not getting what she's getting. And maybe they're feeling that because of her complexion, that she is more palatable to the masses in growing this game than women of color who have been staking a claim in basketball and doing some wonderful things and doing some great things to prove that they are worthy to be praised, but they're not getting it and they haven't been getting it. And I just see these companies just following the money.
Yeah, I think that's a good part of it. Well, or I should say good part. That's a part of it. I mean, from a marketing sense, she is hot right now. You kind of used to be back in the day, I know with the men's sports, they try to catch you before you blow up. If they perceive you're going to blow up, they want to get on board before and kind of lock you down that way. But when so that part I get. But when I see Brianna Stewart has one, and I look at Ella Don, now I get Stewart to an extent. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Ella Don is, Ella Don, but you mean to tell me Asia Wilson shouldn't have one?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You mean to tell me, Candace Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, Candace Parker didn't. I mean, Ella Don is, I'm not saying she's not nice, but and yeah, I mean, I just don't understand where they were totally overlooked. And I think, in a sense, part of it too is their complexion, and part of it is too that I think society and I think Madison Avenue looks at that league as a gay women's league that really nobody's paying attention to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
I'm going to
plays a
mention
part.
a story about Candace Williams, who made a statement a little bit later
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
to the WNBA. Ice, hot take.
Yeah, hot take. So are you buying or are you selling James Harden and Westbrook for the Clippers? James Harden, as they beat Dallas in game one of their series. Westbrook came out of nowhere. I think he added 13 points. James Harden had 28 points, 8 assists, and without Kawhi Leonard. Are you buying or are you selling right now with the Clippers?
Black.
I will buy them for this series and this series only. I will. I mean, I think based on their opponent, the Mavericks, I mean, the Mavericks are basically a joke, man. And I mean, I thought this head coach would kind of do something with them, but until they get Luka in charge, saying not in charge, in control, he has to realize you got to give that ball up. There's we have 4 people on the floor at you at all times that you can give the ball up and hope to get it back. If not, you have to score 20 some odd points every night, 40 points for us to win. Until they develop that mindset, they're not going to get. So for a team like the Clippers that came in and did what they did, yeah, for one game. But James Harden is James Harden. He's going to be, once they get past this series and they get to a team that plays better defense, what's his name, the old Bill Cosby character?
Mongo Slade.
Mongo Slade will be back in the building, baby. You can count on it. So I'm not fooled. And then you're going to have Russell Wilson not Russell, but you got Russ trying to basically take over. And we don't know what Leonard going to do. Realistically, we have no idea how Leonard's going to show up or what. So I'm not buying it. Just for the series, and I wish them success, but I'm not buying it.
Sell. They do this every year, man. They do this every year. They give you 1 or 2 good games. Then all of a sudden they look like they forget to how to play basketball, man. Don't buy this. This is one of my buddies texted me the other night, like, hey man, who you got? I said, first game's a little tricky. Some teams are gonna get blown out. All the home teams won. I said, but that's why they have a 7-game series. It could change at any moment. But sell on the Clippers. No, do not buy on the Clippers. They do this every year. James Harden do this. He's gonna give you 1 or 2 games to make you think, oh yeah, here we go. And Mongo Slade. Mongo Slade is back. Watch it. Ice.
Well, for many seasons I was promoting James Harden, and I was backing him, thinking he just was in a bad position. He wasn't getting the benefit of the doubt. And then I saw the light. Now, in this series, though, I will agree with Black Thor. I think that they can get through this because I just don't think Dallas has enough, right? Like I told you before, I've said this before on this program, that normally you get at least 70 points between the 2 players of Luka and also Kyrie Irving. And this for game 1, you got 64, right? And 1 other player in double figures. Can't beat them, man, like that. You can't win that game. And Kawhi's not even has shown up yet. When he does show up, they just don't have enough pieces. I think this is clear that if whoever running the Mavericks is Cuban's going to step up. If somebody else is running them, they need more pieces. This is telling you, these guys 64 points between 2 people. And if you have 1 other guy and another guy and a half, you might be able to contend somewhere. But I don't think it's too many points on the other side.
Let's go right into NBA basketball. All the home teams won. I'm not fooled by the Bucks. They beat the Pacers. They're trying to get back at the Pacers for that in-tournament, win that the Pacers won that tournament, I believe. So the Celtics, the Cavaliers, the Milwaukee Bucks, the New York Knicks, OKC, the Clippers, Minnesota. I mean, they put a beat down on the Suns, and you had the Nuggets who looked like they're about to give game 1 away, but those Laker old heads got a little bit tired, winded. So I'm gonna go to Ice. Give me your eye test on the Eastern and Western Conference. We're in the playoffs now.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Lakers, man. When you watch them, it's kind of like you don't know what's gonna happen. And again, you gotta give Denver their props. They are doing what they need to do. I'll say this. I always talked about, I'm not sure if their bench was as strong as it was last year, but 2 things are different, I think, for this team. Michael Porter Jr. showing his game. Gordon's really playing real strong. And in this series, KCP, Caldwell Pope, it's like he has a grudge against the Lakers. I mean, he's stepping up. It's like, yeah, I know the weakness, I'm going to attack it. So with that being said, the one thing I'll say about this, I think the Lakers could battle, but they're not. But here's what I find ironic, though, in this series. It's clear D'Angelo Russell was struggling. He's missing shots, right? But he's not the only one. I'm serious. They act like he's the only reason why they're losing because of him. No. Put him on the bench and see what happens. And then you have the other shooters messing up, too. They're not, it's a collective issue. But, of course, when they don't play well or he's missing, they act as if D'Angelo Russell, the whole season's been horrible. Darvin Ham come out and said, look, he helped us get here. We would not be in the playoffs without him right now. But I don't know. I mean, I still think it's about that little kid situation. They're never gonna let him live that down, man. That has shit to do with basketball, but I digress. Celtics are Celtics over the Heat. I mean, even though the Heat tried real well, and Butler's probably not gonna play anywhere. Hey, Knicks over Sixers. I think the Knicks, without if Embiid, they're saying Maxey may not play, or he might be iffy. And the Knicks, without the forwards, been out for a year, rest of the year, impressive. Don't go get no finals tickets yet, but impressive. What you gonna say? I'm just saying. And Bucks and Pacers, I like the Pacers. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if they have enough. Cavaliers showing up a little bit. They just, I don't know. I don't see that either. But last but not least, I'm gonna leave you on this, and I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but I'm gonna say this though. Still like that OKC, bro. Like that OKC. I like their energy. I'm not sure they're gonna win. It don't matter. I just like the young guys playing good ball, not being afraid, and just giving them what they got. Too bad Zion, can't settle down a little bit. They might be able to do something, but I love the young guys at OKC.
Yeah, the Pelicans played them really tough, but you see OKC, they playing as a unit. Old man getting tired in the Lakers game, Black. Edwards just taking it to the Suns. I think the Mavericks would kind of recover back from the Clippers. Kawhi is out. I already mentioned the Thunder. The Knicks, I was telling a friend of mine that, he knows I'm a Knicks fan. I'm like, they're different from the past teams where if the game is close, you're always worried about the Knicks, because they had to grind out the offense. But these guys don't hesitate in throwing up threes and really kind of taking it to you. I'm not fooled by the Bucks. Cleveland and the Magic, we'll see. But the Heat have no business in the playoffs in the get-go, so not going to look for too much from them. Black?
Yeah, the Heat, I know I've said something about them last week. They really shouldn't be there. Milwaukee, even though they look better yesterday without Freak out there, I'm not sure that's going to continue, especially when he comes back. He's going to slow things down, and I'm not sure that will allow that team to flourish. Like they probably could when he's not out there. Cleveland, I didn't watch them play, but I want to see Cleveland a little bit because they're probably going to end up facing the Celtics. I don't think they're going to slow them down any, but hopefully they get them a series. I got to tip my hat to the Knicks, man. I ain't really focusing on them too much this year. Give them all your buy-in. Not saying they're ready to, bring a championship back to New York, but for the effort that they play with and the chemistry and the way they play together, they deserve to be commended, man. They really do. They deserve to be commended. You're right. You got guys out there hustling, taking shots. They don't get scared anymore. They honestly believe that they can believe and beat anyone, and that's what it takes. I'm going to look at Philly, and this is I don't know. To me, I know they got Daryl Morey as the general manager. You got to decide at some point what you want to do to Embiid. You can't keep coming in every year. You'll go to the same thing every year. He gets hurt. Once he gets hurt, the team's going to be good. I'm sorry, man. And it's going to sound rough to say. You can't focus and count on him anymore. I'm not saying you got to get rid of him, but you got to really build that team now like he's not there. He can't be the centerpiece. He can't. I mean, this cat, and I'm not saying he's not heady, but watching him Saturday night on a bad knee, how the hell are you going to set yourself up for a dunk? What are you thinking? I mean, I'm looking at that going like, I mean, really, boss? That just says right there he doesn't have the mentality, so I don't get it. I'm with Ice when he talks about the Lakers. And this is what I said about coaching with Golden State. And I think what these coaches, Ham, a lot of these coaches don't realize is that when you focus so much on your top two players, just like they did Saturday night with Davis and LeBron, you can't expect these guys to be warm and be ready all the time, ready to go. You have to realize, get them in the flow of the game, get them in the game. And believe it or not, they played better when Lakers played better when LeBron and Davis was out. Yeah. They won games. But guess what? When LeBron comes out there, everybody's trying to placate, and that's coaching to me. That's when I think of that, that's how Phil Jackson coached his team. He didn't give a damn who scored the points, as long as you get scored. I mean, I remember years ago when they had between him was Scottie Pippen. I can't think of the guy that they had in Chicago. It was the end of the game, and they called for the other guy to take the shot. Scottie Pippen got mad when one go on the floor. He didn't get an F. Phil was like, this is the best chance we could win. This is what we're going with. Now these coaches, you got a name. No, I'm just going to placate to you. And it's not working. I looked at LeBron in the third quarter. LeBron didn't want the ball. He took no shots in the fourth quarter. Think about this. None. You and I talked about Anthony Davis holding his knees, bent over. They did all they could to halftime. That's all they got. They can't play 4 quarters of solid basketball. You have to allow the other people on your team to come in, allow them to help you win. But their egos won't allow it. And not to mention, everybody got in their head, oh, you catching Denver at the right time? You ain't catching Denver at the right time. They're not as strong as they were last year. You can catch Denver 1 o'clock in the morning, waking up from a dead sleep. They still gonna be the Lakers 4 times straight. They don't have enough for them. They can't handle Joker. He's out there playing like, you know what? I'll take this quarter off. Let them see what they're gonna do. Guess what? Third quarter, I'm back in the game, baby. And that's what it was. Third quarter, I'm back in the game. He's not even making a sweat. And before you know it, they're up by 14, 15, and they're making a dumb mistake. So that series is going to be over real fast. And Lakers might take one. I don't think so. And then Boston, man. Only thing I want to see from Boston now is when they get to the point when their shots are not falling, how do they handle it? Outside of that, man, even though, I think Denver is probably the favorite, I can't see anybody beat Boston 4 games. I'm going to say this now. I know they beat them in the regular season. But if Boston loses, it's going to be because they make some internal mistakes, in my opinion, because that team is put together quite well.
I look at LeBron, and it's almost like he's trying to play too many positions. And when he doesn't allow the point guard to play the point guard position, he steps in the point guard position, it just leaves the offense stagnant. They don't know what to do. They're just standing around and waiting for him to kind of dictate where they go. And that's not how you're going to win with the Lakers. You can't win that way. So he has to give the ball, relinquish the ball to the point guard, and run the offense. And maybe that will stop him from being so tired and winded in the fourth quarter and have the energy to take some shots. Let's go to the Major League Baseball report with Ice Water. There we got a nemesis in the American League East, Baltimore and the Yankees. So we got to battle them every year. We ain't worried about the Red Sox. So, off to the side. Cleveland looking good. Texas, that division, oh boy. There's a lot of parity in that division. You got Atlanta, you got Milwaukee, and of course you have the Dodgers in the West. What's your report, sir?
Yeah, like you said, a lot of you already hit on it before. Baltimore has already snuck up there, and they're kind of only above the Yankees by mere percentage points. So it's going to be interesting down the road. Boston, despite you want to throw them in the trash, they're in third place. So they're watching very closely. So if they can stay where they're at, you never know what can happen. Over in the AL Central, Cleveland is leading. Kansas City's in second place. Detroit's find their way in the third. In the West, Texas has kind of come to the place we thought they would be, coming off that championship last year. Seattle's in second place. The Angels, despite letting the great Ohtani walk away, is in third place, which is kind of interesting. I think that says a lot about the manager. Wonder who that is. Manager over in with the Angels. Moving over to the NL East, Atlanta, as you mentioned, is in first place. Philadelphia, with the older arms and the older guys, finding their way in second place. The Mets playing very scrappy. All the money seems like it's being used properly. They just can't get over the hump. They are in third place. Moving over to the Central and National League, Milwaukee's in first place. Those Cubs are in second place when you throw everything away, and they find a way to kind of be right there in the mix. And the Cincinnati Reds, small park money, still find a way to be around third in third place. They get you all excited until you get up to All-Star break, and then everything just goes straight to hell. That's what the Reds do normally in here. Every year is early. In the West, Dodgers are 13-11, spending all that money. Pops, don't be mad at me. I just hate to see people underperforming for all the money you spend over there. You got Ohtani. Who's next? Anybody they want, they just grab. And I don't understand why in the hell they don't win the World Series every year. But I digress on that. San Diego's in second place. Arizona's in third. Very early on in a number of ways. The one team that's really kind of surprised me, because they have not spent a lot of money, but they're finding ways to get it done, is actually the Cleveland Guardians. I really am surprised by the way they're winning playing real hard, and we'll see what happens down the road. But until then, pass it over to the man with the best wing recipes in America, Black Thor.
I'm coming to you, Black Dog, with the WNBA draft. I know it was a week away, but what did you think about that particular draft? Because I thought Chicago kind of cleaned up. I wasn't expecting them to get Reese and Cardoza, and that's going to be a tag team wrestling match up in the paint, up in the Chicago sky.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I that one surprised me a big. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise because they were kind of basically selling Reese to baby sled down, acting like teams really weren't interested. That kind of played in Chicago's favor for the most part. And look what happened, man. You're right. Cardoza and her together, boy, that blows me away. Overall, man, I thought the draft went very well. I think some teams picked up some players they could definitely use. And I say this with respect. They look like ladies that night, boss. I've seen some WA drafts where they come out where they were dressed. I didn't know what I was watching, but that night they all came out. They looked the part. They looked like they were about business. I mean, they look beautiful, to say the least. So I'm not saying that just because they're women. It's always happy to see a woman represent being a woman, and that they were that night, man. But it should be real interesting how the league kind of takes from here and go because they got a nice infuse of young talent. And I'm gonna say something real quick too because the league got smacked down. Sorry about that. They got smacked down because right after the draft, maybe before the draft, it came out with how much the top pick was going to be making. People were shocked. They were shocked that she's only making $75,000 her first season. Yeah. 75. That's like, how could that be?
Supply and demand, and she's going to be making more than that in endorsements. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kamilla
Cardoza, I'm following you on TikTok. I know I ain't got a shot, but what's your sister name is? Next to you in the draft. I know I'm in Chicago. Bring your sister. Ice Thor. I mean ice water.
Ice Thor. That's
you got more jacked up. You got more jacked up.
Hey, young lady, please respond to him because I never seen him this giddy since 1986. But I think Indiana Fever, despite Caitlin Clark, did well. Of course, they chose her number one. You look at Celeste Taylor, who really is a strong player that was from Ohio State University, along with the point guard, shooting guard from Florida. I think they had a good night as well. You mentioned earlier about Chicago. I mean, I think that's great because they have been missing some things since Candace Parker left, and you put those two young ladies on the floor at the same time, which I think they should. And along they have a very tough. I think it's Brianna Maxwell out of Gonzaga. I got a chance to watch her during the tournament, and she's very gritty. And I think they're gonna get after it. They're gonna push some folks around. It looked like I might have to be coming to Chicago early so I can get my tickets and watch some basketball, watch them really battle from that standpoint too. And you look at the Aces. The Aces had like a B draft, but they really don't. What do they really need? Right. I mean, when you think about it from that standpoint, I'm just glad to see though that some of these teams like Chicago, Indiana, hopefully make some choices, getting some young ladies that can actually help them. I think Chicago is tremendous. I mean, besides the star power of the two young ladies up top, I think that's great. But at the same time, they come into play. And it's one thing to be beautiful and pretty and all that and all the glamour and all of the accolades that they deserve from the, as far as their NIL deals, they're going to bring in endorsements, but they're going to come to play. And that to me speaks volumes. It's like when I used to watch Lisa Leslie play back in the day. And I'm like the big 6'5" young lady that can make things happen. And she was beautiful too. I love basketball, but I also love just to be able to see how the women are appreciated for their athleticism along with their beauty. And I think that's been missing for the WNBA for a long time.
All right. Let's get to this story. Is dealing with the WNBA before we get to the NFL draft that's coming up this week. You had Candace Williams, who said, "Hey, I was bullied by being straight in a 98% gay WNBA." And I know, Black, you talked about this before and why the sport is not popular, and this is an element of it. Your thoughts of her saying that, right after the draft?
not surprised, man. Other players have came out and said the same thing. And I've said this, and I've been shying away from saying it. Part of the reason why the league hasn't grown. I know they don't want to hear that, but that's what society kind of feel about that league. That's who they are. And for whatever reason, they don't want to pour into it. And ironically, when you look at the #1 draft, you don't know if she is or she's not, but they're kind of behind her in a sense. And who knows if she is or she's not, and if she is, how they're going to respond to her. But she's not playing into it. And they have taken on as a form of identity who they are. This is blah, 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 blah. And you're going to rub some people the wrong way. I think that has been a reason why sometimes a lid has been on why they really couldn't. But yeah, I remember years ago, they did an all-star game where you could tell they had the women that were gay on one side of the all-star team, and the women that weren't was on the other side. They were playing against each other. It is what it is, but you got to keep in mind, for you to really flourish and for you to gain popularity, which is going to increase your salary and everything else, you have to have eyes on it. If you're kind of basically doing some things the eyes don't want to see, I mean, that's one thing I'll give the NBA credit for years ago. Love him and hate him as the case may be. I remember years when he came out, well, we're going to put a dress code on these young men. Tired of seeing them show them to the games. This is a business and professional. You come to the game, look a certain way. You're not coming out here with your pants hanging down. No, we don't want that, because it sounded like he was picking on them, but he knew that he had to go sell this to advertisers. So my point in saying that with the WNBA, how are you selling this league to advertisers? Because you keep trying to sell the rainbow, you should be selling the game.
Ice?
Yeah, when you have the majority of that is the case, it's wow. It just makes you go, wow, particularly for a young lady like that having to come out and say, hey, I just want to play, make a couple dollars and have fun. But she's looked a certain kind of way. You remember years ago, it seems like it's a little different now that Candace Parker came out and said something before she kind of unveiled who she really was. But that being said, and I said it as this year's been going on, is you had to find a way to take that energy from women's college basketball and take it over to the WNBA. But as Blackthorn said earlier, if you don't even try to market to the average basketball player, and granted, it's not just Caitlin Clark. I know everybody's like, from the standpoint of, oh, she's great and she's going to change the league. I don't see that, because WNBA, the NBA, who owns the WNBA, pretty much is cheap. They're not going to spend money on something that's not making money. Okay, simply put. So I'm glad Caitlin Clark is going to be able to make other monies. But at the same time, I don't think it would take much for the WNBA to make a little bit more money. Like I said, people don't want to hear it, and they probably be mad at me. But I think you should cut down how many teams you got, fill those rosters with a lot of talent, and let's go to work. Let's see some battles. And then the more competitive it is, like college basketball recently is competitive as hell. It's must-see TV, because you like, man, who's playing it? And when they get into it, they get into it. You do that here, and I think it can increase, but you have to say, who's the average basketball fan? But if you don't, you get what you pay for. There will be no charter planes, because you got to bring some money back. So you can still be riding coach, trying to get the exit row. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just being real. Let's Caitlin Clark got the money now. Somebody like that is going to start paying for everybody. Well, I got you. Don't worry about it. Like when they give gym shoes away because they couldn't connect it with Nike. Everybody's talking, but women are still in coach, playing professional basketball. It's only so many exit rows, bro. And the best you fight inside the Southwest. Do the math.
I keep saying supply and demand. Every time somebody goes, oh, the salaries are supply and demand. It's about supply and demand. It's basic economics. And until you get that straight, you're going to have this. And so, yes, it's not right. It's, everybody was shocked, all that other stuff. But it comes down to basic economics, supply and demand. Let's go to the NFL draft this week. And they're already talking about Caleb Williams in Chicago. I just want to see what he's going to wear when he gets come up on stage. That's all I want to see. I'm going to leave that alone. They're talking about Jalen Daniels to the Commanders. The New England Patriots are talking about Drake May. And I saw Drake May play at North Carolina, and I thought he was really good. If North Carolina had a defense, they'd probably be ranked higher, because he was always under pressure trying to score a lot of points. You have number 4, Marvin Harrison to the Arizona Cardinals. This is a mock draft, according to Yahoo. And I've been hearing two reports: Minnesota Vikings getting J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan, quarterback, or the Giants trying to step in and getting him in case he falls, or they can make a deal. And the Giants are looking at Malik Neighbors, wide receiver from LSU. Chicago's looking at a receiver, Rome from Washington. There are a lot of good receivers out there, and teams need to, really kind of grab these receivers. I'm thinking this is going to be one of the best receiving classes in a long time. And then you got Atlanta Falcons going with a wide receiver, Brian Thomas, and you have the Titans going with an offensive tackle from Notre Dame, Joe Alt, and you have the Giants going with an offensive tackle to try to protect maybe Aaron Rodgers. But Ice, give me your thoughts on this draft, man. Any surprises coming?
What I find surprising is the fact that they're saying that was it Jason? Is it Daniels?
Jalen Daniels, yeah.
Jalen Daniels saying the possibility that he doesn't want to go to the Commanders. It's like, whoa, he don't want to go to Washington. So that's interesting there. But I think right now we're going to, again, I don't know why I keep thinking something's going to be different. I'm trying to give the Bears the benefit of the doubt. We know what you're doing in number one, and that young man is going to need some help. And you can't get Rome at 9. You went and got some older wide receivers. You're doing everything you can that you did not do for Justin Fields. So the question is, are you going to do the right thing? And I don't know. It's going to be very interesting for me in what they do. But all I'm going to say is this, and I'm going to get out the way because there's so many other places you could go. I know Justin Fields is saying, probably talking to, to Mike Thomas, saying, thank you, and thank God that I'm not still in Chicago. Because, man, it's always somebody. That's the thing I do not like about certain franchises. It's always one person's fault. Like in baseball, when the Reds acquired King Griffey Jr., he was older, but nobody else stepped up. What the hell you want to do? I know you're a superstar, but it has to be a collective group, man. But it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this plays out. The Raiders. I want to see what the Raiders do. I would love to see Penix with the Raiders. I just think he don't have to play. You got a number of guys over there that they can just throw out there, but let this guy get healthy. He's kind of like that West Coast thing and keep him upright a little bit. I think he can help them down the line in a couple of years.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the kind of maneuvering that folks were trying to get, and somebody made a pitch. I forget what team. They made a pitch to try to get that number 1 pick from Chicago, but I guess it wasn't enough. Black?
Who in the right mind would try? That's what I was going to just say, because I would like to see this during the draft. Whoever makes the pick, whatever team put the general manager's name up there. Some general managers are going to make some bonehead decisions this coming Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I want to know who they are. There's a lot of talk going around. I don't know why they're moving this guy JJ's name up all the time. I think New England decided to take Drake May, whatever his name is, a big mistake, boss. I'd rather see him take JJ McCarthy than him. I watched some film with him. I'm not impressed. They said he has a lot to grow with. And the thing about the NFL now is you don't have time to grow these quarterbacks up, bro. You got to damn near be able to hit the league. If you don't start the season, you got to be able to come in maybe week 6 or 8 and play. No one got time to hold your hands to bring you through stuff anymore. And he's going to hold his hand. You just don't have it. And you think about this, the Patriots don't have a system where they're going to allow them to sit around and grow and get better. No, you got to come in there, especially if you're number 3, be ready to go. So if they took McCarthy, they took McCarthy, I understand. I do like also, I think, what's the name? I think the Vikings, when you hear the Giants talk, I think the Vikings are trying to get to where Giants are because they want McCarthy. So they're probably trying to make a deal with the Giants to get him. But I don't think the Giants are. I do think the Giants are going to take a quarterback, not early. But I think when they picked up Drew Lock, I think they kind of realized they have a little backup. But there's no doubt this is the last year for Danny Dimes. This is it. He's in the contract this last year. They're going to pay it. They're going to say some good things about him and all this other stuff, but he is long gone after this year. And maybe they'll pick a quarterback later in the draft. I like to pick, when I said it, Penix to the Raiders. I think I'm sorry, but I know they say he has leg problems. That cat played for 2 years and get hurt. And to me, I watched Caleb, I watched all that stuff, but there was nobody in college football last year, in my opinion, slinging that rock better than him.
Yeah.
Left-handed too. I told you in the season, man, that cat can sling it. So you give him a wide open offense, give him some protection.
Yeah.
And to me, he comes in the league right now. He reminds me a little bit, as far as the injuries, the same quarterback that's playing for the Dolphins, but his arm is better. His accuracy is better. So I'm like, you can bring him into the Raiders? The Raiders? Come on, man. Raiders, make that move. Make that move. But it's going to be an interesting draft. Once again, I want to see what general managers make some bonehead decisions, try to move around, try to outsmart other teams, and see what they come up with. Because we know what's going to happen every single year. General managers do some things, and once they do it, we laugh at it and we forget who they are. No, I want to keep your name on public display, and I want to know, especially with the Giants. That general manager, to me, if you mess this draft up, you got to go. Because if you sign up for signing Danny Dimes to that contract, you should be able to do it anyway.
Yeah, and Penix, I watched him just pull games out of fires, during the season where they should have lost, and pulling games. It was those receivers he had. I mean, those are NFL receivers. There's a comedian, Sebastian, who was on my timeline talking about Chicago sports, and they asked him, what do you think about who the Bears should pick? He said, don't matter. He said, Justin Fields going to go somewhere with a Super Bowl. We're going to be sitting here picking somebody else. Oh. So it ain't me, folks. It just ain't me. It's Chicagoans saying that. Like, we know how it goes, man. Let's just go to last second shots. Ice, what's your last second shot, man?
Yeah, my last second shot is this is gonna be an opportunity for a lot of people, young men in NFL draft. So be happy for them and knowing that they put a lot of hard work in trying to make this dream come true. Having a little kind of connection with a few folks that's going to be getting drafted. I'm happy for them. But I will say this, particularly young men with the NIL out there and the way things have happened recently with this past year, things are wide open. Be very careful in your decision making in the future. For those that are coming behind them, be very careful because some people are making decisions based on what they believe is family need, pressure from family members. You need to go get the money. But if the money's not there, if you don't get drafted, what the hell are you gonna do? Work at the airport? Or your whole Canada chooses you? Why not take if the draft boards don't lie. When they give you a projection, it's pretty damn much close. They telling you what they think. So pay attention. And don't let an agent that was talking to you since the 8th grade get you hyped up. Remember, there's always time. Go back to school with the NIL, then you can get $500,000 or maybe $1 million and some change to work on your craft. That's what it's all about. They put it out there for you now. Be smart enough to understand and work the system because we know it worked you and people, your predecessors before you. So it's time for you to work it and be smart.
Black?
I sent you a video earlier, man, about your boy Mark Jackson. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it or not, but this is part of the reason Mark Jackson is not part of the NBA franchise or NBA environment right now. He was out there champion for a team to draft Bonnie James, Bonnie, whatever. He said, yeah, man, the kid came back from a heart attack. That's the reason right there you should not be trying to push him on the team. He said, if I was a team right now, I would draft him because if you draft him, you know LeBron's going to come play for you. LeBron come play, there's going to be a championship between him and his son.
I did see that.
And I'm like, what type of talk is that? Well, I mean, if LeBron can't win a championship with the Lakers with Anthony Davis right now in the past few years, and I'm not going to count that little soccer ball when they won, whatever you want to call that. What makes you think, a team should spend a draft pick on the son? Oh, yeah, they should take him in, and, Koi's going to get better. He can't do this, but they'll teach him out. Bro, do you realize there's so many other so many other players out here that are more talented, they're more ready to go into the NBA, and you're going to get on a podcast, whatever, and push LeBron's son. Hopefully he's paying you, because I can't believe you're that stupid. I'm being honest with you. If you are, part of the reason why you're not working right now.
I said this earlier in the show, and I'm going to say it to NFL teams in this draft. I know people are talking about the quarterbacks and all that, but this is a rich class of wide receivers. Y'all need a wide receiver in the NFL. This is a great class. Y'all better come get some of this chicken salad that they're getting given away out here. There's some wide receivers who are game changers in this draft. I know everybody's on Harrison, but you look at the wide receivers from LSU, all those quarterbacks who were throwing the ball last year, they had 2 or 3 wide receivers that they were going to, and these guys are bona fide NFL players. If you need a wide receiver, this is the time to get one. Even if you don't need one, put them on the roster and get one. Get this chicken salad while it's still fresh. That's our show. We'll be back next week.